Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Backlotboys podcast. This is episode 13 being recorded live at Disneyland.
The Grand Californian. We're here. We're here right now. This is very funny because usually we're doing the podcast from separate places. We're all in the same spot. Interesting fact. I always thought Scar had this voice, this kind of like booming sort of, just this all-powerful presence of a voice, mostly having to do with editing and that kind of stuff. He opened the episode here right now, sitting right next to me. I heard it live, heard it in the flesh, and it sounds legit.
It's
pretty legit.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. So it's really exciting. We're going to film this podcast in two parts. This is our expectations of Star Wars Land, or Galaxy's Edge, they now
Galaxy's
call it.
Wedge. They changed it, actually, because something with the cheese, they were going to have a vendor. There's a cart, like charcuterie, is that what they call that? It's usually like a wood thing, and there's lots of different cheese. I don't know. Yeah, Galaxy's Edge. You got it. You're right, I think.
I see.
It was a dream I had.
So we're going to talk about what we're excited about and your expectations after only...
Yeah, I've been here once. We went on the ride, the only ride. And what else did we do? That was about it. We went in one of the merchandise shops. It had a bunch of like the Stormtrooper stuff and some of the Imperial, I don't know, retail stuff. Mm-hmm. And then saw some fireworks from the area, but that was really about it. We didn't really have a chance to explore too much else. I'm really looking forward to possibly some of the eating opportunities. But it's basically like a first time for me too, because I was super tired then too.
Yeah, so of course I haven't been to Galaxy's Edge yet, and we're going to be going to Disneyland's version, not Disney World's, where Disney World has Rise of the Resistance attraction has opened, whereas Disneyland doesn't open till like another month.
January 17th?
Yeah, so we're not going to experience that,
Okay.
So we're not going to get the full experience yet, but that'll just be fun for our next trip. So we are going to experience Millennium Falcon, correct?
Yep, of course.
We're going to try to get a lightsaber. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. In both options, right? So one custom build and then another
pre-built. Legends, I believe they call those.
I'm excited.
So yeah, I'm very excited.
Are these
about
all
that.
things we went in a line for? Is they kind of corral us up, queue us up?
I don't know. We're gonna have to figure that out, I suppose. But yeah, my expectations are high. I've been watching Star Wars Land get built from the very beginning. There's a lot of great people on YouTube and other blogs that take a lot of construction pictures, and I religiously watch those videos every week, the construction. Give a little shout out to Fresh Baked. That man was out there almost every single week for like 3 years.
Guy is consistent.
Consistent?
He is always on there. So
Quality?
now he's wearing the vest with the tie and everything. He's really going full force.
Yeah, very, very good stuff. So watched him for 3 years being consistently making good content.
Awesome
keeping
voice,
people.
too.
Yeah.
He's fun, he's always having a good time and laughing, but he's got the facts too. So he's like kind of the best of both worlds, I think. So you have the high expectations. Does it ever occur to you like maybe don't watch that stuff? Be surprised when you get on the attraction for the first time, or is that that's not a thing for you? To me, that's a big thing. It doesn't seem to be a factor for you.
I don't watch full ride videos with spoilers. I like to watch the construction videos, seeing things get built, the structural design and all that stuff. But once the rides are complete and then there are more spoiler-ridden videos, I don't watch those. So no Rise of the Resistance video watch-throughs, anything like that.
Okay, so you haven't watched those?
No. Okay. And of course, I've seen the Millennium Falcon videos because those are so prevalent on YouTube.
You couldn't get away from them. It was like you'd watch them by accident, it seems like.
Yeah. You couldn't. So I've seen some of those, but I've never seen any of the on-ride stuff. But I've seen what it looks like and stuff like that. Okay. My expectations for Millennium Falcon, we'll start there, is quite high. Like, the level of detail that I'm anticipating seeing is incredible. What I don't know about is the quality of the footage, because it's real-time rendered, so that's new technology that they're doing. They've done some really crazy things with daisy chaining graphic cards together. NVIDIA was involved, the graphic card maker, and so I'm kind of I don't know about that.
One thing that I remember, and there was so much. It was so much it was a very stimulating environment. The queue was just. I'm glad that line was as long as it was because it really let you kind of see everything in the line or in the queue, everything that they had built out in this app bay, and they were working on a bunch of things. And droids were having a good time. There were rifles in some cases. They were open. People were having fun with some candy too for some reason. But the other thing was that I noticed with regards to the screens, if I recall anything at all, I feel like the picture wasn't as vibrant as say maybe even Star Tours. By vibrant, I mean saturated, like bright colors. It almost seemed like there was like a curtain or a screen. You know what I mean? Like kind of like. But I'm probably totally wrong. I'm just not remembering again.
Yeah. So you've been on it, but
sure.
You're going to be able to get we're going to get on a couple times. We're going to really
a couple times. So I was an engineer, probably the most boring job, just because but it's important. It's a critical job. As you have what I think, if I remember this right, you have 2 pilots, 2 gunners, 2 engineers, and if I remember right, and the engineer position is as the ship takes on damage. You have a panel of lights or color or switches, and anything that lights up, you got to repeatedly hit until the light goes away. So you're always flashing on these things. It's kind of fun, you feel like you have some responsibility. The pilot thing looks like it's the most fun, and the gunner looks pretty rad too.
So for pilot, I'd prefer that, of course. Yeah, sure. Is there like the throttle where you go to hyperspace?
There most certainly is. The cool thing about the pilot spot, I thought, is they have a lot of variable controls. They have something that kind of looks like, how you would fire up a commercial jetliner. It's not a joystick; it's an actual one of those guys. Snap. I think.
That sounds.
But they have a couple of different switch options up there.
Yeah. So wow, I'm really excited about that.
What do you think you'd be the best at of those positions?
I want to be the pilot.
I think I'd want to be the droid. The thing, how R2 has that slot opens up and that metal thing comes out, and you can always just turn it a couple times. I wouldn't mind doing that.
Yeah.
I don't have that tool, but but that wouldn't be bad.
I mean, they should sell that in the gift shop.
So, what was the Star Wars movie I was just telling you that I was watching on the plane coming out here?
Last Jedi.
Can we talk about a hero for a second? BB-8.
Yeah.
When all that stuff's going haywire in the cab, and he's using those little metal things to kind of shut down the things that were sparking, or the connectivity was all goofy, and finally just takes his head and shoves it into the thing, fries him up, but it gets the guy so he can use his little protons or whatever and take care of business. He was able to TCOB because BB-8 put his noggin right in there.
He's always there. He's always helping out.
Solid guy. His head falls off and he puts it right back on. It's really wild. Must be a magnet or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so excited for tomorrow to see this stuff. So yeah, Millennium Falcon. The level of detail, from the queue to the entrance, I'm excited to see that. As the entire land as a whole, I've been watching this. Like I said, the rock work be sculpted, or the structure really. And then the rock work was installed, and it's just mind-blowing. So I can't wait to see all the little details that you really can't see in videos and stuff like that. So were you blown away when you first saw it all?
I was. Here, to paint the picture, is Kate and Dane were walking ahead of me. They're walking, they go under this little bridge. Or not like a bridge, but there's some rock work and you go through this kind of tunnel thing. So I'm filming with my phone. It's one of these situations where I'm looking at the scene through my phone, and all of a sudden I'm I think I was sending you a snap or something, and I just lowered the phone. I gave up on sending. I had to look at it with my own eyes. I was I'm not going to come in here like this.
Oh wow, yeah.
And if I could say, the only thing I would say that really, not the only thing, but the main thing that blew me away there, the lighting. That can't be. I don't think you can truly get that across in a photo. Sometimes people overdo it, and they have that cool effect that makes the lights have this thing. There's that guy on, but way back in the day on Mice Chat, he had great photos, but they were insanely edited. The production afterwards, remember those ones? So there's those photos, and then there's really horrible ones.
Yes.
And so this, you can't get true light across in a photo. You might disagree. I feel like that's the thing for me. Get the feels from the lighting. And
very difficult with that.
And take it over the
top. I think it's the same with Pandora at Animal Kingdom in Disney World.
The jewelry store.
All of
Pandora, the charm. It has a soccer ball and a cheerleading outfit or something on it.
It's the sparkles of all the stainless steel. Or what are they? What is it? Sterling?
It's Sterling. That's Swarovski. You're thinking of the crystals. It's that swan. They did the castle.
That's true.
Or De Beers. I don't know. But anyway, it's you were saying Pandora the ride.
Yes.
I think.
When you see people's photos and videos when they come back, you look at it and you're like, I bet it's better. When you see the colors and stuff, it's a little muted. But the Disney special on the Disney Plus, the Imagineering story, they have some really good photography of Pandora, and I've never seen it look so cool. So they had some high quality cameras up there, but you're right about the colors for everything. Very excited to see that. What is next? So stores and restaurants.
Yeah. What do you think? What are you most looking forward to in terms of the retail experience and maybe stores, whether it be food or what have.
I hope to find obscure things. one person posted something on YouTube, an unboxing, if you will, of all the little foods that Luke had in Dagobah. When when he kind of opened up that little container and he was picking.
Oh yeah, he's dinking around, kind of looked like a bento box.
Yeah, and then there's somebody who had like rebel insignia, so like badges, ranks, and stuff like that.
Do you think they sell? I'm going to keep going back to this movie since I just saw it. Remember the ring that the one of the characters wore in that Star Wars movie, where she shows it to those kids when they're guarding those things that look kind of like horses, and she turns that little dial, and then it shows hey, I'm part of the part of the rebellion, part of the ship, part of the crew. You think they sell those?
I don't know.
I'd get one.
See, the more obscure, in my opinion, the better. A shirt that just says Galaxy's Edge. That doesn't do
2019.
anything.
It's got the characters climbing all over it.
Got Mickey just hanging on one of the spires.
Maybe there's some Christmas lights on one. Donald's hanging from the string.
Goofy's trying to pilot the...
He's upset.
Actually, that would be kind of funny if Goofy was.
And Pluto's tongue's just hanging out. He never really gets in on the antics, truly. The best thing, he's pulling Goofy's shorts down a little bit. Something like that might be fun. Tastefully.
Yeah, tastefully, of course. But like the really obscure things, that's the stuff that's my favorite. I really want to get a lightsaber in Dok-Ondar, so that's the shop that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Is a lightsaber like a wand, like a Harry Potter wand, where the lightsaber chooses the Jedi, or the wand chooses the wizard?
I don't know. I know there's a lot of lore behind lightsabers in the Kyber Crystals. That's the interior of them, which makes it do its thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they choose each other, or they just pick the ones. So like, I want the green one, or I want the blue one. I know each color has a rhyme or a reason. Maybe the viewers there, you could let us know.
So I've only known you to have a red one.
Darth Vader.
You had the Darth Vader lightsaber. That kind of fits your personality, of course. I don't really know what that means. But have you noticed that most of the time, the red saber is generally with, the kind of sketchy, the Sith. Yeah, we had Darth Maul, had the dually.
Yeah, I think all Sith have. Well, there might be a few exceptions, but at least the on-camera ones for the movies have all had red lightsabers.
Has there ever been a good? I mean, and that's a relative term, but has there ever been a hero that has had a red saber?
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe in Legends. Sure. That's like the extended universe.
What about what's the Lego? Not the Lego one. What was the animated series?
Oh, the Clone Wars.
Clone Wars, yeah.
I don't know. I know there's like black lightsabers. There's yellow lightsabers. There's orange. There's silver. There's so many different colors. But I don't know. I
feel like you see yourself as a blue.
Maybe blue. Yeah, maybe.
I think that's the one everybody wants. It's kind of like you want to be a Gryffindor, but you're going to be a Hufflepuff. Not you're going to be a Hufflepuff, but somebody will. Somebody's got to be in Hufflepuff. Somebody has to do the dishes.
Somebody's got to be down there. Tickle the pear.
Yeah, jeez. Oh my gosh, get out of here.
So I'm excited about that shop, especially being that Dok-Ondar is an actual animatronic within the shop, and there's a lot of cool like decorations surrounding it in the rafters of it. You can see like old Imperial Guard helmets, like the red guy and stuff like that.
Does he get engaged? Does he talk to the people around and
I don't know.
He has fun with everything?
We're gonna have to figure that out.
Okay. What's the guy? If I remember right, it's a restaurant, Ronto Roasters. Mm-hmm. Is that the one that has the smelting droid?
Yeah, he's got the little.
I can't wait. I'm stoked to see that.
That's an old pod racer engine.
Fuselage, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I remember. We did a podcast. Remember we did that podcast? We're talking about the restaurants. We talked about the restaurants. I think. Yeah, and I remember that one. And I was like, I want to go. I didn't eat anything, didn't see anything. The only thing I got there was those little Cokes, the thermal detonators. Still have them.
And then the last thing about shops is I'm looking forward to going to the market.
Travel shampoo. I'm just kidding, I didn't, but yeah, because it'd be more than 3 ounces.
Oh, that's true. Sure. At one point they weren't even allowing those Coke bottles onto flights.
I could see how an unsuspecting TSA person, maybe not familiar, not part of the club.
I think they relaxed that rule.
Well, I brought him. I brought him in my carry-on last time. But pre-check. They don't, pre-check is just kind of like King of the Castle.
It's a free-for-all.
Yeah, it really is.
I love it. Okay, so excited about that. As for the restaurants, I don't really know much. I think there's Ronto Roasters. Okay. Cargo Bay 8 is...
Is that the more standard fare? Kind of like your Hungry Bear situation? It's the more common stuff.
And then there's Oga's Cantina.
Where do we get the blue... the milk?
The milk and green, and that is a stand. It's over by the TIE Echelon fighter, so that's like on the Fantasyland side of Galaxy's Edge.
Is that the one that I keep talking about, calling it an Imperial ship of some kind? When you walk in and it's to your right,
Yes.
And there's a photo op area kind of in front of it like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually
It's
prior
cool.
to J.J. Abrams taking over Rise of the Skywalker.
Sure.
It's that was supposed to be in the movie. It was called a TIE Echelon.
Okay.
And the director that moved on and J.J. took his place, he originally had that as like a prominent vehicle in it. And then
Who would
that
it be
was
for?
taken.
Would it be a transport vehicle, or is it a starfighter?
Nothing's really known because he was still a director when that part of Galaxy's Edge was being designed, so they incorporated that into it. And then
It's not that big.
Yeah,
You
then
could
they
put a
pulled
ton of
back
people,
and
maybe
stuff
some
like
dignitaries.
Yeah, maybe.
One point on that is I just noticed this the other day because one day I was sitting there and somebody was talking about TIE fighters at work, and I felt like I needed to step in and make some corrections. And I'm not even I don't know that much. So before I did, I went into Wikipedia. I checked out, started looking at some stuff. Couldn't find exactly what I was looking for, but I found some kind of fan wiki thing on Star Wars, craft, if you will. There are 1 million TIE fighters. If you look all the way across the Star Wars universe, there's so many different kinds.
Oh, there's
hundreds of them. Maybe not hundreds, dozens at least. And it was really cool. It was cool to see all the different types of TIEs. I didn't know there were that many.
Yeah.
I knew the TIE Bomber, the Interceptor, Darth Vader's, the Standard issue, and maybe a couple others. But there's tons of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool. So, food, that I wish there was like more restaurants. There's just So maybe that's something they'll add in the future.
It's almost like Croc's Bits and Bites. It's just like bits and bites around.
Yes.
It seems like small plates.
They've also added something new to Disneyland. It's been in Disney World for a little while, but outdoor vending carts that are like supposedly powered by the droid. So they have like a droid that kind of moves around, interacts a little bit, and then that's where they sell the special Coke bottles.
That's where I got mine. I got mine from an outdoor vendor. It was right in front, a little bit to Screech. I think a little bit to the left of.
Did he have the droid?
I don't know. I'd have to look at some pictures.
I thought they rolled those droids out recently. Maybe they.
Oh no, I probably didn't have the droid. I'm just saying I got the Cokes outside.
Okay, well we'll look forward to enjoying the
bought it
company
from a
of the
guy
droid.
in the bathroom or anything. I got it from an official spot, but I don't think there was a droid.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
Are you one of the guys that gets the wacky popcorn tins and the sippers, park sippers? I just found out that's what those are called.
Yeah,
You're into that a little bit?
Nah, if I saw something, we don't come often.
Sure.
And if we saw something good, maybe I'd pick it up.
So
good backdrop.
does Galaxy's Wedge have something that we should be looking for while we're there?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I feel like when I was here over Halloween, there was a Darth Vader head that people were, stuffing full of treats and things. But maybe not. Maybe I could be wrong. I'm not sure.
Yeah, man.
I feel like there was. Could have been a ghost.
Any other things you're excited about seeing in there? I think we covered.
I just want to look around.
Rides and
I remember
details.
at one point, and again, sometimes stuff molds, and then you have a dream about it, and now you're not sure what's real and what's not. But I remember coming out of Rise of the Resistance, looking off. Wait, that's the one that I've already been on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
No, Millennium Falcon.
I'm always forgetting that. What's that called, though?
Smuggler's Run.
Smuggler's Run. Come out of Smuggler's Run, getting ready to leave the park. The fireworks are all going. And at the very last minute, right as I was leaving the area, I looked to the right, and there was like a cool, kind of an alley. It got real narrow. There was some stuff hanging like this, and I'm just looking forward to walking around.
Oh, me too.
I want to see what it's all about. Kind of get in that mode. One thing I do remember is there were a lot of like really well themed cast member outfits, costumes, whatever, and they uniforms, and they were playing the role. They were playing the part all the way through, but it was the very end. The park was about to close. Right, it was closing. And there's a guy that takes your picture that's over by that you were just talking about, that TIE fighter thing or whatever it is, and these two people, and no disrespect, no discredit, but these two people are there, and I don't know how old they are. And that doesn't matter, but they, how you get the Max Pass or whatever, they take a bunch of pictures of you download and have fun with it, no watermark. But they're there, and this is not an exaggeration, they take 30 photos.
Whoa.
They do the one with the back-to-back like this with the pistol up in the air. They do the one where they're kind of like this and the arms crossed, and they kind of look at each other like that, like a couple old pals. And but it was opposing genders, but I just don't know what was going on there. I could have swore it was like a brother and sister. Maybe it was something fun they were doing for the parents back home, or what it was. It could have been senior pictures. It could have been engagement photos. It could have been
anything.
They might have met that day. I don't know. But it was just 30 photos, and there's this line of people. What do we have? Like 20 people are lined up behind him.
They're taking advantage of the
got a 4.5-year-old
Max
that's about to collapse, just trying to get out of there. It's fine, But
did you get the picture in the end, or did
eventually we did? But I don't even know if I was looking at the camera at that point. I was having a laugh. I wasn't mad about it. I'm just saying, like, I think maybe there's a courteous the photographer can say, all right, okay, you know, and maybe he starts talking to the person behind. You don't have to be rude.
Run out of battery.
Yeah, just bring them in. Yeah, you can say, oh yeah, you know how this happens with batteries. So lithium ion, it doesn't, you know, it's not perfect. It's not perfect.
I'm excited to roam around. I really want to ride the ride. I just want to spend some time.
I hope you can get on it. Like, so we were talking, you know, you think, I wonder, hopefully, you know, I mean, by the time you guys hear this, we'll have found out if we can go on it or not. We can get Scar on here. But hopefully you can transfer into the thing and get a belt around you or whatever and, you know, the ride and get in the seats.
Yeah, I do not know what the accessibility is.
I don't remember it shaking around all too much.
Yeah.
The experience was there. You could feel it. You felt like you were immersed, but I don't remember it doing those hard dips that Star Tours does. I really don't think it did that. I don't think.
So yeah, that's a report we'll give, is a full accessibility tour of the ride, and yeah, I'm excited. Are you ready to go to bed so we can ride this ride tomorrow?
Well, let's go take a snooze. It's windy outside. Let's get warm. Have some peanut butter M&Ms. You know, count our blessings and get stoked for tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Backlotboys podcast. We are here to recap our thoughts, our experiences, our hopes and our dreams, and how they were either built up or let down when we went into Star Wars Land, Galaxy's Wedge, if you will, as it's sometimes called, Black Spire. We're back here, we're checking stuff out, and I've got Good Times with Scar with me, of course, you know, co-host, or he's the, you know, I don't know who's the host and the you know, figure that out later. Yeah, take it away. Let's see what we got, Scar. Thoughts?
The thoughts.
Immediate thoughts.
You know, the first time I came in here, I was just a bit overwhelmed. Everything, it was just a lot all at once.
Sure.
And then I liked it. I liked everything. But when I came back, I was a little less just kind of like wandering in awe, and really got to see the details more and clearly. And I was just blown away. This is Tokyo Disney Sea level theming, mysterious island, the volcano level rockwork, if you're familiar. And from the rockwork to the spires to the colors in the petrified trees into the market, there's animatronics everywhere. I mean, you encountered animatronics.
I feel like this would be, it wouldn't be right if I didn't mention this. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be hearing a lot of funny sounds in the background, and those are going to be anything from droid little whoops and whops to sounds like some starfighters might be taking off. You may hear a disgruntled guest. We are in Star Wars Land. We're in Galaxy's Wedge actually right now. We're kind of on the outskirts, right over by Rise of the Resistance, the entrance to the ride, where, of course, as you know, the ride's not open yet. Not till January 17th is the alleged date. They've got a couple cast members over at that gate, and so you might hear some people walk up there and become very disappointed when they find out they can't go on the ride. So there's some animals around, some wombats, and different things. So if you hear those sounds, don't be alarmed.
There's also an X-Wing letting out a little gas over to the right side of us. Sometimes Chewie goes over there and kicks it and messes with the wrench. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
But yeah, it is a land to behold. 3 years watching this place get built, worth it. I think the land will be whole once that ride's open. Once Rise of the Resistance is open, because as of right now, there's one ride. And then the rest of it's, you know, things you have to pay for. You know, lightsabers, $200, droids, $100. So once this ride's open, I think the whole land will come together and give you like hours of things to do.
Yeah, it's kind of the old paywall model over here, if you will. You get to kind of come in, get a little taste of it, and then they kind of look and make sure you got something sticking out of your back pocket, a wallet, or maybe that you've got your Apple Pay all rigged up, because there are a lot of things to pay for over here, and those things are not necessarily cheap. I got that blue milk yesterday, and you know, I'll tell you what, it's very tasty. I don't agree with what a lot of people have said, but it's you know, $8 or so. So it's about $8 to quench the thirst, and I see some you know, designated cast members going into Rise of the Resistance here right now, and just more disappointed fans as well.
I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah.
When I see somebody going there, I just go, ah.
For those of you at home who are bird watchers or very interested in the nanotechnology of spy robots, you might see, as you come here, you may see a number of hummingbirds flying around. They've got like this black kind of iridescent face and some red outlining around their eyes and their proboscis, schnoz, whatever, you know, the nose and the mouth. It's very interesting. Kind of looks like Darth Maul, actually, now that I think about it. Their face looks like Darth Maul. Peculiar. I'm not sure if they brought them in and they're hoping that they'll reproduce and kind of flourish around this area, maybe do some of the work, take some of the legwork off the bees. as we know that those are kind of disappearing here.
They're
and
having a hard time.
They really are. They're having a tough time. They're not getting the credit they deserve, and people just the pesticides and everything.
So we've tried to go into Dok-Ondar's. Dok-Ondar's is a shop, and it is entirely filled with. It's basically a museum of Star Wars. When you look up into the rafters, you have Imperial Stormtrooper helmets. You have maybe references to the Mandalorian, the rifle, the helmet, and the droid that accompanied him on the first episode, where he was going to shoot Baby Yoda. How dare he? And Mandalorian decided to shoot him in the head.
He's like, I forgot. This isn't a conversation I even want to have.
Yeah. So that droid is inside of the Dok-Ondar shop. That's the shop where you can get lightsabers, you can get other, collectible items, and he's up on a shelf at the top. He's just kind of laid up there with a blast right through the head.
And interestingly, if you look next to his head, that particular droid you're talking about, there's like two or three black blast holes in the wall right there. Mm-hmm. It almost makes it look like he was sitting up there relaxing, and then they shot him. Where I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Maybe that's not what they were going for. Because obviously that stuff was all gathered and placed on the shelf.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really, they'll figure it out. They'll work through some of the kinks and the continuity stuff. But it's kind of like a museum of the wired as opposed to museum of the weird. A lot of robots, a lot of droids, a lot of paraphernalia. They have the heads on the wall, like a trophy hunter.
Yeah.
They do that. They've got some really wild monsters up there. Some some you don't know. Pretty fun.
So Millennium Falcon.
Sure.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I had been on it before, as we've kind of indicated. I had an agreeable time. It's really fun.
You have been 2 different roles now.
Sure.
An engineer or a gunner?
In fact, 3 now that I've been up front.
So you've been an engineer, a gunner, and a pilot now.
Sure. Yeah.
And a pilot on both ends, right?
Yes, both sides, right side, left side.
So if you guys aren't
Strong
familiar, if you can hear us over the X-wing, it's just taking off. There are 3 roles in the Millennium Falcon ride. There's an engineer, he pushes the buttons, he repairs the ship. There's a gunner who shoots the blasters, and then there's a pilot that controls the pitch, and then there is a pilot that controls the elevator, so kind of like the right to left, right? I think.
Yeah, you got it.
And the right pilot throttles up, so he goes to light speed, and then the left pilot puts on the brakes that time. So those are the roles.
And
of the
boosters.
pilots. Yeah, and boosters.
Yeah.
I did not put the boosters on
Temporary
the first time
boosters.
I went on.
Yeah.
But as you enter this ride, you enter through the Millennium Falcon area. So the Millennium Falcon's next to you. You go through it. We didn't go through the normal line. We went through the Fast Pass line, which the attraction doesn't offer Fast Pass at the moment. But that's where, if you use a wheelchair, you go up through that way. Then you land inside the Millennium Falcon, and then they give you little tokens, little cards, little colors. And then you use those colors to sort the people into pilots, engineers, gunners. And then you enter the Millennium Falcon, and you go on your adventure. I would say that I think probably in a few years they'll probably add more destinations like Star Tours, because as of right now it's one trip going after Colaxium from Solo, Star Wars story, tanked. It was fun. It's less wild than Star Tours.
Yeah. Do you think that's because the smaller screen? Obviously, it has a lot to do with the hydraulics and how much the thing shakes around. But I feel like if you're one of the kind of people that maybe gets disoriented by a large screen and a moving platform and that kind of thing, maybe this ride is still for you. It's not so crazy. It's immersive, but it's not immersive in the sense that it kind of throws your equilibrium off.
Yeah, it's definitely calmer.
But you're busy. You're pressing buttons. You're watching. You're very, very focused. I got done and I was tired.
Yeah. I think they dumbed it down. Well, it literally sounded like there was a large Star Wars beast in the bushes over
I
there.
keep seeing the leaves kind of rustle and everything behind us, and it's not a windy day. It's very calm, so it's hard to say what could be in there.
So, I was actually scared. There's a lot of really weird immersive sounds in this area, and it's scaled in a way to make it sound like things are further or closer. It's really interesting because right now there's like some kind of beast that comes out over to our left, and then to our right, of course, there's the X-wing still trying to take off.
Yep.
And then there's people still trying to get into the queue of Rise of Resistance.
And one thing they did say was, I believe part of this area is allegedly built on an ancient Gungan burial ground. Ooh. So, that's never good. In the bathroom, you kind of hear Jar Jar kind of a whimper, I noticed every once in a while. I'm not sure if you
Is he like Moaning Myrtle from
a little bit, yeah.
Potter?
The toilet will actually bubble underneath you if you're so inclined. You'll check it out if you guys make it here. I'm trying to think if there was one other thing I wanted to mention. You mentioned tokens with the cards. The other things the cards do is they do sort you into your groups. That's when you get on to the ride. There's a few different buildings you find yourself in. I would say it's probably about 3 technically, because you've got the main building you're going to go in, and there's the animatronic there of the guy with the horns coming out of his neck, and you'll talk to him for a couple of minutes. That's a pretty short spiel. And he's still carrying on as you go in. Then you go into a second area, which is kind of the holding area, sort of the middle of the Falcon where that chessboard was. And, there's some asbestos that's hanging out of some corners. It's not real, of course, so don't mind that. And then you go to a further place, and right before you get into your, the little the pilot window of the Millennium Falcon. But, there's blue, there's brown, there's yellow, there's orange, there's red, there's green. And you'll go into these groups, and then, of course, there's 2 of each. 2 pilots, 2 engineers, 2 gunners. And you've all got a job to do, and hopefully, you'll do okay.
I really like that ride. It's fun. But the one thing it's still missing here is like a ride like Pirates of the Caribbean. It's that one little thing that Star Wars Land needs, but it's just not open yet. Yeah. I think it's just like the perfect, this land will be absolutely perfect when that ride is done.
Tie it all together.
It will tie it all together.
And I'll share with you too, folks, part of the reason that we're actually filming this part of the podcast right over here on site, on scene, is one, to hopefully immerse you guys, but we're hoping that maybe they see us over there, they see the smiles on our faces, the looks, the looks in our eyes, and they think, hey, maybe those would be 2 guys that would be great at testing out this ride. Oh, they seem to have a knowledge that is kind of surpasses some of the the average fella. So
I would agree. Yeah, we'll keep those smiles.
Sure.
So I thought of a few things how I could easily improve this land.
Let's hear it.
John Williams made an entire suite of music for Galaxy's Edge that's not played anywhere that I know of in the land. Maybe in Rise of Resistance, haven't been on it, but how cool would it be if you heard that music playing? X-Wing's still trying.
Yeah, he's really trying to get off the ground. Chewie caused a problem when he came over here that time when he was kicking the stuff around, I think.
But if you heard that John Williams score play when you round the corner by the Millennium Falcon, you have the real physical Millennium Falcon there with that instrumental of John Williams playing would be
that would bring people to tears. It might actually cause a bottleneck right there because people would be stopped dead in their tracks.
Oh yeah. I was just thinking of that music, listening to it next to that would be really incredible. And the other thing too, if they could add, is some alien creatures roaming around.
Yeah, because they've got a couple things under control. They've got the stormtroopers. That's pretty classic. One thing I did notice is, a lot of people seem to be aware that the stormtroopers will be presenting themselves at some point, and the ladies of Instagram, as you know, they're here, and they basically follow the stormtroopers around, hoping to get in there, hoping to get in a shot, maybe with the pistols up or that kind of thing. And it's not that there's anything wrong with that, but it really the stormtroopers at some point, they're almost like, all right, we're going to keep on moving, we'll go see what else is going on, and they're really trying to instigate, and it's in some ways it's almost a little sad, but I'll reserve my opinions, of course, but you'll watch for that, you'll see it when you come, of course.
Yeah, a lot of people. We got Chewbacca coming up here. He's coming up here.
Chewbacca! Was hoping he would come by here and say hello to everybody. He's got no, that's a horrible impression.
No, that's a good one.
He's nearby. He's nearby.
Yeah. So, what else? So, the other thing I thought would be cool for this land is some kind of little speeder.
Chewbacca's really cute.
He is. He's fluffy.
Okay. He's okay.
He tries. He lost Han. Always unfortunate.
What a good friend. All right, carry on.
So, Rise of Resistance is by Critter Country here in Disneyland. That's the particular Galaxy's Edge we're in. I thought it'd be cool is if there was some kind of speeder bike, some kind of vehicle.
There's a speeder bike pilot right over here, right as he's speaking. Rise of the Resistance right here. He's got the poncho on. That greenish poncho they have. See him right there? Busted. We're kind of seeing everybody around here.
Oh, yeah. So, that's like Return of the Jedi poncho.
It is. That is that outfit. That's curious.
It seems the cast members have such an array of accessories they can wear, like hats, goggles, all sorts of different things to make their own costumes unique. You see them like they can accessorize, if they want a vest or if they want a hat or, some of them have a staff.
Yeah, it's not one size fits all, Definitely not one size fits all. One more time. Chewbacca! He's not coming over. He can't hear me. That's fine.
So, I think it'd be really cool to have a speeder bike or some kind of Star Wars transportation to take you from the Rise of the Resistance area all the way to the main area where the Millennium Falcon is.
No way. Oh, I thought they were going to let him in.
No.
I thought it was kind of a funny kind of
Chewie's
deal.
trying to bring him
Oh,
in.
Chewie, man, just lifting everybody up and then
I think Chewie
letting them down
just
hard.
trolled a bunch of people and thought they were going to get the ride.
Chewie, have you lost your mind? That's cruelty.
Oh, that's Chewie.
Yeah, so, you want to see more people roaming around. You want to see some speeder bikes getting involved or, some land speeders and things. You mentioned aliens. What aliens would you feel so great about having walk around out here? And feel safe, some of them are a little liable to throw down at the drop of a hat.
I think it would be really cool to see the aliens or droids, just a few of those guys just roaming about on the pathways. Mm-hmm. That'd be so cool. But yeah, that's the only thing I can think of to improve the land. There's nothing else. There's the rock work, there's the buildings. The rides are on the way. They're not there yet.
Sure. Can I offer one improvement?
What?
So one thing you'll notice when you come in here, there's a lot of ships that, and we've already talked about the X-Wing that's parked, there's an X-Wing and an A-Wing parked very close to where we are right now. But you know how they have the ships that are kind of on top of the buildings?
Yeah.
Mixed in there? What I'd love to see is a little bit of hydraulics involved where they would kind of lift up just a little bit. So they make the noise, they light up, especially at night. You guys will love this place at night. But I'd like to see some movement from them. Just a little bit, and I understand that stuff can cause a lot of wear and tear over a period of time. Maybe it goes off once every hour, it doesn't have to be a whole thing. But yeah, just a little articulation. Just show us a little something about maybe somebody trying to lift off and the stormtroopers come up, halt, and like they get all mad and it has to come back down and then they march somebody off. And because they have catwalks, so they have these walkways on top of these buildings. Sometimes you might see a stormtrooper just up there kind of poking around. They could do a whole thing with the theatrics and they'll work their way into it maybe.
Well, that is one thing that Galaxy's Edge, that animal is back in the bushes again.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what's going on here, but I have a feeling that we're being encircled.
Yeah, is that there's stages everywhere in Galaxy's Edge that aren't used. Mm-hmm. They've only used them for the media day, but there's land speeders, like really cool land speeders. Above that's a whole like stunt show setup.
Really?
All the walkways area, the little pyrotechnic cannons are all in place. Okay. Millennium Falcon area, it's roped off for a main reason being that it is a stunt show area too, because people can walk up the gangplank, not accessible to guests. They can enter the cockpit for scenes. There's a lot of different places that are made for stunt shows and little theatrics that were cut. So hopefully maybe some of those come back because they've only been seen on media days for Disneyland and Disney World, and you can find those on YouTube if you want to look.
Yeah, take a dive.
They're really cool. There's a scene with Rey. She's fighting Kylo, the lightsabers.
Okay. Now, just to come back just real quickly to the Millennium Falcon ride, Smuggler's Run. You talked about the prep. You get in there, you had this expectation. You had probably seen some stuff. There's always going to be spoilers. You might not have watched an intentional ride video, but you saw all the stuff.
Yeah.
So did it function the way that you expected? Was the ride experience good for you? And being the fact that, you have some limitations around mobility, was it rough on you? Was it okay?
So you have way more control as a pilot than I thought. You do have more control, a little more movement in the sticks. I have not been a gunner or an engineer, just the pilot. The accessibility-wise is great. The pilot chairs could have been like 1 inch further apart.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to cut in here like this, but there is a honeybee. It is right behind Scar's chair, about 1.5 feet behind. I'm amazed to see it. I don't know what they're putting in the water here. I don't know what they're doing. There's probably beekeepers behind the scenes. But I'm real happy to see that. Okay, so, we're talking bees.
All right, yep. Just don't want to sting.
Do not roll backwards.
All right, I will not. The pilot chairs are like a little too close together, so it's hard to get the wheelchair in between. But what is nice is that they allow a compartment to be somewhere you can go and take your time getting in and out of the Millennium Falcon instead of being rushed like all the other compartments.
So where they have these various cockpits, you know how many cockpits they have in total down in there?
I don't know.
It's a number of them, and like you said, they have one that they call it the special mission. You might hear that. Don't be offended by it, but you'll hear that, and it's just a little more time, and maybe there's other accommodations. I'm not sure, because I only went on the ride not with you once, so I'm not really familiar, but yeah, so you get in there and they have that special compartment, give you a little extra time.
Yeah, so that is really nice. And then you take an elevator. There's exit signs that are misleading, if you will.
Intentional, do you think, or just kind of adding to the chaos?
Well, there are painted exit signs. I've learned from you that those are the ones you follow. You don't follow the emergency exit signs.
Yeah, the lights are more if disaster happened. We're in Los Angeles. There's a crazy earthquake, something like this, or not Los Angeles, but Orange County. And yeah, there's a crazy earthquake, and we got to bail out of there. The green exit signs, don't don't hang your hat on those. You're going to look for the painting that's on the wall, and it isn't a Star Wars-esque font, but it is readable. It is in the English language, and so you just follow that and make your way out. There's arrows too if you're more you respond better to those.
But yeah, this is an amazing land. A land. Oh man,
a land of enchantment.
Land of enchantment. It's true. A land that. I don't know. It will stand the testament of time. Like this is quite an investment into the land. I got a lot more thoughts.
The food's wonderful.
But these are just my initial thoughts that you just can't take your eyes off the rockwork, the plants over here in the resistant forest, and there's TIE fighters. There's another TIE fighter or X-wing we can't even see over there. Yet, because, well, as we said, it's not open, the ride, Rise of the Resistance.
And if you find yourself so lucky, and you go on Rise of the Resistance in the evening hours, you just so happen to be getting off the ride, during the fireworks, you hear the boom boom when you're in the tunnel. It actually sounds like, you're taking on, you're being attacked. But when you go out there, you can see this huge backdrop. The fireworks are rising up above the spires. You see them behind the Millennium Falcon. You're imagining that maybe you're Harrison Ford. There's not a lot of time left. You got to get in. One of your ears is pierced. But it's fun, it's very immersive over here. And the transition, right? The transition from Frontierland or the transition from Bear Country or however you're getting here, it's gradual, but then boom, you're in here and you're not affected by the things around you. We were here, we didn't hear Phantasmic, we didn't hear a peep of it when we were here, and that's just right over there.
Yeah, just right on the side of the river.
Sure.
But what are your final thoughts from
I
this?
guess, so what it all comes down to is, I think Big Thunder Ranch was better. I wish it was still here. I liked petting the animals. You had to use the hand sanitizer and stuff. And they had that sheep that was really soft. And so, bottom line from me is, I'd hope when they're all, when the Star Wars hype kind of dies back down, this will return to Big Thunder Ranch. And yourself.
They'll have to take down some of the mountains over here.
Well, they can get different kinds of goats. You get the right kind of goat, or have you ever seen that National Geographic, or it could have been the one that Disney did with that very rare? I think it's like a mountain lion-esque guy. He's got some stuff that comes off of his ears. He could be in there. You could get some owls and some eagles and some little rodents. Maybe what's the chinchilla or a pika? They live in the mountains. Yeah. And get some goats and stuff in here, and we can. That's what they can do. They can keep the guns in the turrets. Birds will make a nest of it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's true. You'd like to see it return.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Rise of Resistance open and experience the land as a whole. But for what we did see, it's amazing land that has even more potential in the future to get even better.
So when Rise of the Resistance opens, we'll see if we can do something to get back here sometime close to that. Do you think they'll have any of the do you think they'll have any of those celebrity actors come out for the unveiling?
Well, when they opened this land, the one in Disneyland, they had Harrison, they had Mark Hamill.
Yeah. Are
Lando.
Harrison and Mark Hamill, are they friends? Are they patinas?
They seem like they're good friends, yeah.
Who would win in an arm wrestling match, do you think?
Oh, Harrison.
Obviously, Harrison's he's a mountain of a man, but Hamill, you never know. His forearms are pretty strong. He's a little sneaky. Yeah, he's got a very piercing gaze. He's got the beard and everything too. So
yeah, that's a little more formidable.
Yeah.
And Lucas was here.
George Lucas. Okay.
The one in Disney World when it opened, I don't know. Not that I remember.
If it all came down to it, who would be able to do a handstand longer? Do you think, Mark Hamill or George Lucas?
Oh, easy, Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
George with the flannel.
And we saw him do it in Return of the Jedi, right?
Yeah,
wasn't he in Dagobah? Or wait, was that Empire Strikes Back? Don't, please, people. It's been a while we've seen the movies.
It is. Either one. Okay.
All right.
But man, when I look at this land, I just see so many other cool things that they could do too. And I think they will in the future. And
I love the idea about the aliens. Did you ever say an alien, a particular alien? Really dial in there and just choose your favorite alien you'd like to see, realistically, that you'd like to see roaming around.
Well, what's that thing? Is it a bantha?
Yeah.
So they can make something similar to that. I would think, because they've made Lucky the dinosaur that walked around Animal Kingdom for years. Apparently now he's just all wrapped up in plastic at Imagineering, because you can see him in the Imagineering special when Joe Rohde walks by him. He's just wrapped up in clear plastic.
Did Rohde give the plastic a pat, or did he even give it a side glance or a little tap?
No, it wasn't. Even the Muppets Mobile Lab was sitting next to it.
I did see that part. I did see that. I love Joe Rohde.
They're just like, hey, we're just leaving these great things on the table, but I just see those things as like walking around would be really cool. The pathway from the Resistance area to the main outpost where Millennium Falcon is super wide.
It's an ideal
and it
spot
would be perfect
them.
for something to walk along.
Now,
there.
do you think they could even do something where, now I don't know how complicated,
like
know,
a little
and
cart, like a
safety,
place for the kids?
Maybe something like that. It was, you're kind of on, you're kind of off. What I'm thinking is the Bantha's cruising through, some of his fur, if you guys remember, it kind of looks like dreadlocks, kind of unkempt dreadlocks, if you will. He's walking through. Somebody could be riding him, the sand guys, the Tusken Raiders, maybe a Tusken Raider, those guys. And they have that big old long rifle, and they're playing around with it a little bit, having fun with each other. But it'd be cool to see one riding one of those, and that might be too much. Maybe they have some kind of intergalactic, looking leash on it or something, walking through it. Maybe it has saddlebags on it.
Yeah.
And it's carrying some stuff that the Tusken Raiders, they raided. Be nice.
That would be really cool.
Nice.
But yeah, this is an amazing land, and we need to get back here as soon as possible.
There's so much they can do. Now you got the theatrics. There's just so much they can do, theatrics-wise. And wouldn't you want to be a cast member over here? There's so much, we mentioned, we don't want to be a cast member over by the Rise of the Resistance thing because you're seeing a lot of smiles turn to frowns in a really short period of time. But
if I was a cast member, I would not want to be the one at the station telling everybody that, you know what? I apologize, but this ride is not open.
Because right now, and you guys have seen these if you've been to the parks, they have, the wait times, in minutes. I'm looking at a digital display right now, and it says wait time, in minutes, of course, for Rise of the Resistance, and there's a blue dot right there. It's just a period, obviously, signifying that you're not getting in here, period.
Yeah.
But that's where the number will go on, and I think maybe people see that it's lit up right there, and they're expecting maybe that's going to be revitalized or updated here within the next couple of minutes, and they're hanging about, waiting for something to happen, just like we are, and it doesn't look like it's going to go down today.
And also, Chewie led a whole crew over there, and they told him no.
Yeah,
Chewie
they all got behind him.
Trolled about 20 people.
It's like that scene in a movie when, somebody's kind of on a crusade and there's a bunch of the townspeople and everybody's behind them and they're, yeah, let's get them, and they come up to the thing and Chewie's got his hands out and Chewie even takes both of his paws, points them in the forward direction to go down the path towards Rise of the Resistance, and then the hands go up, and it was all a big joke.
I've never seen anything like it, Chewie.
It's horrifying. You expect that at Knott's or Universal or Legoland of all places, but not at Walt's.
If only this was a video. Have to be our next podcast, but there we go. Man, we could go on forever, honestly, about all the stuff at Galaxy's Edge to see and do. And we will definitely have to have a full trip report from the podcast coming soon. But this was our initial thoughts and second thoughts in your case.
What's that thing they always say in Star Wars? May the
Force be with you.
So if they do go back to the Big Thunder Ranch, may the horse be with you. Okay, folks, we'll be back. We'll be back soon with you. May the horse be with you.
Thank you for watching. Goodbye.